Let's have a session on growth. So when we're thinking about growth, we need to be aware there's two types of growth: internal growth and external growth. Internal growth, sometimes called organic growth, is when a firm seeks to expand its capacity, product range, distribution channels, or outlets, and the key thing is using its own resources, its own finances. External growth, sometimes called integration, is when a firm seeks to do the same, expand its capacity, expand its product range, use different distribution channels. It could be perhaps they set up a website and try and use e-commerce as well as a physical store, or outlets, but the key difference is through the use of mergers or takeovers. So they're basically going to use another business and then use that through acquiring it through a merger or through a takeover, and use that to help grow its own business. Now, sometimes mergers or takeovers are called acquisitions. Just be aware of that. Key thing is concepts we need to be aware of with regard to growth. So, as you grow, you will likely achieve these concepts. You're probably going to get economies of scale, because economies of scale, whether it's purchasing, managerial or technical, is that as you increase your units of output, you're going to get a lower average unit cost. You're going to be able to make your cost per unit lower. That means it's likely that you can reduce your prices, and that's going to give you a competitive edge over your rivals. So economies of scale, that's the first thing you might achieve. The next is economies of scope, is that you can use your existing factory production to make other products and at a lower cost per unit. You might also benefit from the experience curve as you make more and more historical units, again giving you an advantage within the market. And if you go for the external growth side, then you may create synergies in your merger or your takeover. And they're all good things. Economies of scale, economies of scope, benefiting from the experience curve, creating synergies, all good stuff. But you need to be considering the other side. So you may, as you grow, suffer from these concepts, and they're ones that you want to be aware of, and you could think about this as structuring an essay plan. So you might get diseconomies of scale. So as you move beyond your minimum efficient scale, your minimum efficient scale is basically the point, the output point where you have your lowest average cost per unit. As you move beyond that, then you will start to suffer from coordination problems, communication problems, motivation problems maybe in your staff if you've got too many, and then you might suffer from diseconomies of scale, and that's essentially that your average cost per unit will go up, and that will lead to you becoming less efficient or inefficient. If you grow too fast, you might suffer from overtrading. Potentially you're making too many products or you're opening too many stores, and that could be a problem for your cash flow and your liquidity. And as you grow over time, you'll go through different management and leadership crisis, and for that you're thinking about Greiner's model of growth. And all of these are especially likely if you grow rapidly or you just grow too fast. Now, we want to also consider the impact of growth on each of the functional areas. We'll start with finance. So with finance, you want to ensure the appropriate cash flow is in place to enable you to grow without overtrading, without having those liquidity issues, and therefore cash flow forecasts will help you manage this problem and therefore manage your working capital. And if cash flow issues can be forecast, the firm may be able to put sources of finance in place, and for that it's likely to be debt or equity, but within that you're going to have to consider your gearing. And if you grow internationally, then you're going to consider the particular country that you grow in. Do they have a different currency to you? Because now you need to start considering exchange rates within your decision making. The next functional area is operations. And with operations, as we discussed before, the business may achieve economies of scale as a result of growth and making the business more efficient, leading to lower unit costs. Good thing. But at a certain point, diseconomies will be realised, so it depends on where the business is currently with respect to the minimum efficient scale. Also, with rapid growth, it might lead to quality issues. So you do have appropriate QA or QC in place. The next functional area is marketing. So the impact of growth on marketing. Well, the firm may need to adapt its marketing mix or extended marketing mix. For instance, you might want to use different pricing strategies depending on your objectives as a business. It may be you need to add additional distribution channels or increase the total spend on the promotional mix. The next functional area and the final functional area is human resources. So a business may need to hire additional staff, putting extra pressure on the human resource flow. And within that, the key aspects of the human resource flow you want to consider, of course, recruitment. If you're growing, you probably need more staff, and more staff means more of a wage bill, but also the cost of recruiting and selecting these staff is going to increase. Training, as you hire more staff, then you're going to need more induction training, and it may also lead to the fact you're going to need more on the job or off the job or formal or informal training as a consequence of that. Redeployment. So it may be that you need to now redeploy your experienced staff as you grow new outlets or grow into new regions, because you might want your experienced staff to allow you to support that growth. I'll see you at the next sesh.